Episode 5. When the lake refused to be silent. Lake Michigan stretched wide and gray that morning. The wind rolled across the water, carrying the sound of waves striking stone, steady and relentless. Joggers passed. Cyclists rode by. The city rose behind it all, glass and steel reflecting a pale sky. David stood near the edge, hands wrapped around a paper cup of coffee gone cold. This was where he came when his thoughts grew too loud. He had been raised to believe that strength meant silence. Men did not cry. Faith did not question. Doubt stayed hidden. But grief has a way of surfacing no matter how deep it is buried. The lake watched him. David's father had taught him how to fish here. Had taught him how to pray, too, though neither of them talked much about God after his mother passed. Over time, church became occasional. Prayer became brief. Faith became something remembered, not practiced. A wave crashed harder than the rest, splashing against the rocks. David closed his eyes. "Lord," he said quietly, "I do not know how to carry this anymore." The wind answered before words did. Scripture rose uninvited. Psalm 42 verse 7, "Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy waterspouts, all thy waves and thy billows are gone over me." David felt it in his chest. The lake was not calm. Neither was he. Nearby, a woman stood with a sketchbook, charcoal smudged across her fingers. She had been drawing the water, capturing movement rather than detail. She glanced over at David, then back at the lake. "It never stays quiet for long," she said, gesturing toward the waves. "That is how it survives." David nodded slowly. She closed her sketchbook. "Sometimes we think peace means stillness," she continued. "But sometimes it means letting the noise out." Her words landed gently. David looked back at the water. Tears came, unannounced and unashamed. He did not wipe them away. He let the lake witness what he had hidden for too long. Scripture echoed again, Matthew chapter 5 verse 4, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." The wind softened. The waves slowed, not stopping, just easing. David exhaled. When he opened his eyes, the woman was gone. Joggers passed again. The city resumed its pace. But something remained. He whispered a prayer of thanks, not because everything was fixed, but because he was no longer alone with it. The lake stretched on, vast and patient. As written in Isaiah chapter 43 verse 2, "When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee." David turned back toward the city, heart lighter, steps steadier. The lake remained. The city remembered. And grief, once buried, had finally been heard.